Well, that won't do. Let's go ahead and see about getting this one done. Huh? Alright, so got some little adjustments. Foam is on and sanded and rough shaped. Got a few little things that still need to be kind of tweaked. Like this line here, as you can tell, is much flatter to the door. I think right about around here it's supposed to be right at about 1 inch, so like this whole thing's got to come back about an inch. So more or less that whole thing is probably a little over an inch further forward than it needs to be, which is fine. So I just gotta measure it off and cut it back. But I'm not gonna jump on that first. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tape up a couple of spots, which in the last video that I did, you didn't actually get to see that part. But I'm gonna tape that up, and then I'm going to joint compound it like I did last time. But this time I'm gonna use the dry deck style, which hopefully that's enough. If not, I still got some joint compound left, and I'm at least gonna get this part mudded up tonight, and then I'll probably start measuring off to correct that edge there. We got the dry decks put down. You can tell it's pink. If you've never worked with this stuff before, as it dries, it goes back to being white. And already worked on the correction on the curvature. So it steps back. You can't really tell from the video, but it's there. I'm gonna sand it just a little bit, and then try to get some more dry decks in. I'm actually gonna run out, so I'm gonna have to switch to joint compound. And that's all she wrote for tonight. We are mudded up, so we are back to the long waiting game. Luckily we've been chilling kind of in the 60s during the day, so maybe tomorrow. If not, then it'll definitely be closer to this weekend. So this is awkward. The back, which is joint compound, is basically dry. It's still just a couple of soft spots just because it's not very thick. But again, I'm gonna end up doing what I did on the other side, where I shaved it off and ended up remudding it. What makes this awkward though is this is still wet. So it's like, you can tell it's starting to turn white. It goes from pink to white when it's dry, and you can see it's soft. And like it melted. I'm gonna have to go back over this again, big time. But yeah, you know, it's super soft. I'm confused by it because I thought the dry decks was supposed to dry faster than the normal regular joint compound. So this is not the next night, but 2 nights later, and I'm still not dry enough to sand this. And I thought the temperatures would be warm enough to get me there. Ooh, we'll got some of the sanding done, so we're getting closer to that smooth surface. Pretty freaking close to where it needs to be at. I'll try to like cut over to a mirrored look. Obviously got a bunch of little pits and holes and everything that have to be filled, so I'm gonna need to do more joint compound, which I don't have, so it'll be much later for me to get more to finish smoothing it out and getting the last little bit of the curvature done. Sanding is gonna get a little bit, well, I guess that the bulk of the sanding is done, but it's gonna get a little bit harder from here on out because my sander has apparently taken a shit. Should be under warranty though. I don't know what the hell. That sucks. So yeah, slowly but surely You might be wondering why this is sticking out. I do plan on tucking this in, but in order to maintain the exact same shape as what the other side had, I'm rebuilding the exact piece as it was on the other side, and then I'll do the contouring in to bring it tapered in like it needs to be. Originally I was slightly concerned about how much this was going to be, but like, I'm looking at this and it's not going to be very much. Like I'm basically gonna just pull out the lip on the fuel cap just a little bit, so just be like a slight step out, so it won't even be an issue. As a side note, something that I was going to do on the other side that I didn't, and I kind of regret now, is once I have the shape smooth and where I want it, I'll be covering the surface with PVA. Basically that's like a liquid plastic essentially, which will create a surface layer to make the fiberglass mold come off easier. I knew this was going to stick. I just didn't know it was going to be as much of a pain as it was to try to get out of the panels. So covering everything with the PVA will create a thin little mold release layer, which is what PVA is for, and I'll be able to just pop the panels, and then from there be ripping the plastic. And like, I mean, if you watch the previous video, you'll see how easy the plug itself was to remove. That's part of what the plastic is here for, is it makes the cleanup portion very easy. So removing the plug will be nothing, and if I get that PVA in there and it works out well, I mean, even if it doesn't work perfectly, anything's gonna be better than what I went through to get the sheetrock compound and the foam out of that. I still got some tape that I gotta finish digging out on a couple of them, but I do not plan on fighting that much with this side. But once this side is fiberglass and ready to go, that's when I'll begin sanding down the panels. I'm probably going to I'm gonna pull the fenders, because I'm gonna start with there. I'm gonna pull the fenders, sand them. It's just gonna be better to sand them entirely. Originally I was thinking I'll just sand enough to do my bonding and then go from there, but I'm gonna sand them entirely, and then basically get down to the fiberglass so I can make my attachment, and then start doing fiberglass to fiberglass, and then from there it'd be basically body filler to fiberglass filler rather, to finish smoothing everything over and making it real nice before it gets primed and then eventually painted. Here's a question I'll throw out there for everyone. Anyone who has experience doing fiberglass to fiberglass bonding, like obviously I'm gonna get to the fiberglass, I'm gonna put patch pieces down with resin, and that'll attach the fiberglass. Let's step over this side. So I'll be trimming this back to give myself a wider edge, and then once this is all sanded down and where it needs to be at, I'll use pieces of fiberglass along with the resin obviously to attach this piece to the fiberglass that's underneath here. The question that I have for anyone who has experience doing this is probably more common in Corvettes than it is Vipers. Steve from Autoform would probably be the best person to ask if I wanted a direct Viper answer, but same thing in the end. Rather than doing filler, would something like gel coat be better, easier to work with, or worthwhile? Because I know, like, if you buy, like, for example, the Charger, the fiberglass hood that was on there, it was an unprepped hood, had gel coat. And I know when people do molds, they generally will put a layer of gel coat down and then fiberglass into that, and then they pop the whole thing out, and now you have this layer of gel coat, which allows you to kind of sand it, get your smooth shape. Would gel coat be the choice, or would they stick to the traditional methods of doing body filler? Would it be gel coat after body filler? That part I'm not entirely sure about. My plan initially a fiberglass it, and then do filler, get it all nice and smooth and pretty, and then prime it. And then ultimately I'm probably gonna just get it repainted this, but I'm playing with the idea of wrapping it in another color because I kind of want to feel out another color. I do like the blue, so I'm probably going to end up going back to that in the end, but there is another color that I want to play with first. So if you have any insight in that, or just an opinion, whatever, throw a comment up on here and let me know. I don't think there's very much content to this video, but it's right before the holidays, and if I continue this video into the next segment of video, it's gonna be weeks before I get anything out, so I'm probably gonna finish this video here, and then the next video will be, hopefully, I won't bother doing a portion showing the next layer of sanding and joint compound. It'll likely be going right into the PVA and fiberglassing, and then going from there.